What is going on, everyone? It is Tyler McKinney back here again, and today we're going to get into a little AEW speculation. Now, if you haven't seen AEW Dynamite this week, you probably are going to want to watch that before you watch the rest of this video. Why? Because I'm going to spoil it for you. So, you've been warned. All right, let's go ahead and let's get into it. So, pretty much what happened this past week is we had the Inner Circle War Council, and what came out of it was that MJF was out of the Inner Circle, but he was not going to be taken out. He let them know that he had something up his sleeve and that he was the one who got all of them in the Inner Circle, and that was that he started his own faction. That's right. We've got faction versus faction in AEW. We got MJF coming out there with Tully Blanchard. He has FTR, Shawn Spears, and MJF and Wardlow are your new faction. What are they going to be? That's what we're going to talk about. And listen, I think that this is something that is fantastic, and AEW, for me, has been doing a fantastic job with continuing on their storylines, building up their storylines, and this just continues it even further because with AEW, with MJF, you were thinking that he's finally going to get his just desserts. He's finally going to get what he deserves, what he should get, and they're going to beat him down, and they beat him at his own game, the manipulation game, the scheming and all of that. And I love the fact that Jericho's like, what do you think? We don't talk at all? And I love the fact that, they kind of allow us to kind of not expect that they're just stupid and things of that nature. I think it's pretty cool. But for MJF to turn this on everyone, it was just priceless. It was awesome, and I think that it's great. This here really opens up a new chapter for AEW, and I think it really does a couple things. One, everybody's been saying for a while, are we going to get a Four Horsemen thing? Are we going to get a Four Horsemen thing? And you've been seeing Tully Blanchard, you've seen Arnie Anderson, and you've kind of seen some of these things hinted. You'll get the four every now and again and all that with it. And I think that this is really cool. I really like this faction. I think that the way that they've put it together is something that we're surprised about. And again, in wrestling, I love the surprise. I love being able to sit there and watch it and things happen and not knowing what's going to go on and me expecting all the time that that's what's going to happen. I love that. I love that that's what's happening here in AEW. And this faction could quite possibly be some iteration of the Four Horsemen, and I would love to see that. I don't know if that's trademarked by WWE. Let me know if that's a trademark thing and that they can't use it. If they can, I think that they need to promote the heck out of this thing. And I think that it would be a really neat, really cool kind of angle for them. Or maybe even just something that's kind of similar to the Four Horsemen. Listen, here in this thing, as you see, I know that you've got kind of 5 guys that would really kind of be the faction, and maybe you come up with something kind of like that. I don't know. You've got Wardlow, MJF, but I kind of look at it as Wardlow's kind of more of the bodyguard for MJF as opposed to him, actually being kind of a member of this collaboration. I could be wrong, and that maybe it's, how kind of like Wardlow was brought into the fold of the Inner Circle, but it was kind of like he was kind of member by association, but really wasn't kind of a member type of a thing. I don't know. It's probably something like that. And listen, if they can do a play on of the Four Horsemen, but maybe, pull a whole thing, we're better because we're one better, I mean, seriously, an amp that goes to 11 is better than an amp that goes to 10 because it's one more. And Four Horsemen's great, but you know what's better? 5 Horsemen. Why? Because you have one more, and that makes it better. I mean, it gets, you get more, you got more guys. You've got more. I don't know if they do some type a thing like that. I think it would be kind of fun if they did that. But playing on this Four Horsemen thing, I think is fantastic. You've got your tag team in there. You've got MJF as, your nefarious bad guy. You've got Shawn Spears as kind of, that wild card type of a guy, and that with it. And I really, really like the way that they're building out this stable. I like the way that this faction's building out. It's really, really nice. They're doing it well. We were surprised about it. When it comes to the Inner Circle, I think that this is fantastic. And listen, I think that what they are doing is moving the Inner Circle into kind of this pseudo anti-hero, kind of NWO type of role, where, since Chris Jericho's been in AEW, he's kind of been a villain, whether it's been this kind of goofy villain that things have kind of been of late, or whether he was just like, the bad dude all the way around when he was the champ. He's just been a bad guy. And I think that this is a way where they can transition him and the Inner Circle to kind of being the cool group and kind of the good guys to root for in this war of factions. And so I think it's going to be really neat to see that with this, and him being able to go from, provoking a crowd and provoking people to actually rousing up the crowd and getting everybody excited. And especially since they've been adding back fans in, and people are going to be getting back in the stands, and they're going to be doing, more and more shows with larger and larger audiences. I think that this is great. Obviously we know that Jericho is one of the greatest ever to work a mic in professional wrestling. And I think that this is just going to take it to another level. I mean, when you think about it, you have MJF, who, you can't name really a professional wrestler outside of Jericho that is currently in the business that can work a crowd, work a mic like Jericho can. And when you put those two guys opposite each other and have them going back and forth, it is literally going to be just wrestling promo gold. I don't know how this one could seriously go wrong. But what it does is it sets up the Inner Circle to be that kind of, and again, it's just the way it is, but be that NWO, be that DX, be that group that's like the anti-hero of, AEW, where fans can get behind them. They're still not necessarily good guys because they pull off bad, they can pull things off the bad way, but yet they're still fun to where fans can get behind them because they're not the bad guys anymore. And I think that this is really good. I think that this is going to give them a real opportunity, to send some of these guys in the faction up the card. I was kind of trying to figure out what they would be doing, and with it, I totally missed it when they did the whole angle with them going in and Jericho and MJF going after the tag belts. I didn't realize that it was going to lead to the factions splitting up and creating two factions, and I did not see that in the storyline. I saw that this was going to become kind of a continuation where the belts were going to become part of that, and that doesn't look like that's going to be the case at this moment. And tell you the truth, I'm glad I was wrong. I really like the way that this is going. I'm really excited to see where it's going to go, what they're going to do with it. Again, it just reiterates to me that I trust AEW in the, in their booking, in their cutting of their promos, in their storyline writing, in that I trust them to handle it. And listen, they've missed beats here and there, but what they've showed me is that they're going to work around that, and they're going to try to bring it around to make it the most enjoyable and entertaining for the fans, and that's what they've done here. I think that this feud between Jericho's faction in the Inner Circle and MJF's new faction, whatever MJF's new faction is going to call. Hopefully we get a name for them, and it'll be pretty cool, and we'll kind of have this war of stables happening here, and it'll be a really neat thing in AEW that's got me super excited about it. Like always, guys, I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Am I totally wrong? Are you excited? Are you not excited? Am I just missing the boat on all of this? That's totally fine. That's your opinion, and I would love to hear it and have the conversation with you down in the comment section. All right, guys, I know that you're busy. I know that I'm busy, so let's get on out of here. You have a good night. Bye.